What's up, ghouls? It's Betty Jade, and I went to the beach again, and I found another thing. You know? So I sometimes often do. And you know how sometimes you look at clouds and you're like, oh, that one looks like a bunny, or that one looks like a dragon, or, you know, you just kind of find things in them. Well, I went to the beach, and I found a piece of driftwood, and I was like, that's a snail. That is a snail without a shell. And that's mine. Yeah, that's mine. I'm gonna take that. And I dragged it back to my car. And so now it is my project to do. And it's a little big. I don't really have a place to keep a driftwood snail art thing per se, so I'm gonna make it and just give it to my mom, because she has a big yard, so she has a place to keep a weird driftwood snail. And I know a snail without a shell is basically just a slug. But to me, he said I am Snail. So I'm going to clean him up a little bit. Yes, and then I think I'm going to try to dye him a little. I'm going to color him, make him a little bit of a fancy, colorful snail, and then I'm going to see what we can do about making him a shell. And I want to make him a cool skull-shaped shell. Because, you know, I can't do anything normal around here. I saw a picture of a little snail with a cute little skull shell, so yeah, we're gonna have to do that. And then we'll see how he turns out. But I'll show you the piece of driftwood. This is my little snail, the way I found him. Here's his little sluggly body. And then, yes, Harley, his little face, his little mouthies, and his little eye tenors. Yeah. And then I'll build him a nice little shell right here. And we'll have ourselves a nice giant snail. So, let's get started. Okay, so I'm just putting on my little mask for safety, because I don't want any nasty, dusty wood bits getting in my lungs. And, so I just got my little handheld sander here, and I'm not sanding down the whole piece of driftwood, because that would be ridiculous, but I am just getting a couple of the little knobblies that it has on it, and just the really roughest parts of it, which really isn't too much of it. It's really just the parts that are sticking out that are super, super rough, and like its little antennas on the top, because I want to stick some eyeballs on it, and I just need to flatten those like a little bit So if I just take the sander to it for a couple of seconds, it's just gonna make it much easier. And that's all I'm gonna do with that. Okay, so now the wood's all nice and clean. I got all the sand and stuff out of it from the beach. And now I've got teal rit dye and lemon yellow rit dye. And I watched some videos and it turns out you can dye wood with just regular old rit dye. And I've got this magic eraser that I've cut into 2, and I'm gonna use it to just swipe the dye right onto it. And I'm gonna start with the yellow because I'm gonna put yellow on the bottom and like some spots on it and the tips of its feelers. I'm gonna color yellow, and the rest I'm just gonna make blue. And the yellow showed up when I first put it on, and like kind of when it dried. I didn't really see it after I put the finish on it, because it made the wood really dark. And the yellow's really light, so it kind of washed it out. So that sucks, because I spent a lot of time putting the yellow on. And it was kind of hard getting down in the tub and splashing all the yellow on, as you can kind of see.
Really? Stupid piece of trash.
I just did the rest of the body with the teal, and it was really pretty, especially when it dried. It was just this nice light teal color. It did still show up after I put the sealant on it, but it did get much darker, which is unfortunate because it looks so much better without it on. But it did still show up and look blue, so I can't complain too much because it was still blue Snail, so it did work. It showed up better than the yellow, so I think the darker colors, I say, work better on the wood, and they show up better on the lighter spots of the wood, I think, too. So it worked. It did work. I wish the yellow had maybe shown up a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm gonna make him 3 eyeballs. One, because he's got like this literal little notch for an eye right on the side of his face, so I'm gonna make him one there just because he's got one for it, and 2 big ones for his little eyeball feelers on the top of his head. And I've made these before on my channel, but they're like these little glass cabochons, and I make the eyeballs by drawing an eye on paper and then gluing the cabochons on top of them. So I'm using a Sharpie to make a black outline and a black pupil, and then I just draw the eyeball with colored pencils, because I'm a little bit better with colored pencils than I am with markers. It's embarrassing, but I still really haven't gotten good with markers. So after I draw the blackest blacks, I'm using red again, because I asked my mom what color she wanted his eyes to be, and she's like, red. And I was like, red? You want him to be demonic? And she was kind of like, I like red. So I was like, okay. So I'm giving him red eyeballs, and I thought some yellow breaking out of the pupil would look pretty cool with that. So that's his little eyes I'm giving him, and I think they turned out pretty good. Okay, so now I've got my clear E6000 glue, which is like my new favorite glue. It's pretty cool. I'm just gonna put a dollop big enough to spread all the way to the outside, covering it completely. It's okay if it spills over, I can just wipe it off. Doesn't burn me like hot glue, which is also nice. And then I'm just gonna let it cure for 24 hours. And I did make the eyes too big, and they go too far. You can see them past the cabochon, which looks stupid. I do cut them off later. Don't worry about it. I don't do it on camera because I just didn't want to do it while the glue was still wet and sticky, even though it probably actually might have been easier, but I did it while it dried, or after it was dry, which might have been harder because I had to cut through all the flexible glue, and it was bleh, but whatever. They look fine now, so don't worry about it. Okay, so now since my snail is going to be outdoors, I need to put a finish on him. So I got this indoor-outdoor finish, helmsman. I stirred it all up. I tried to get a glossy one, so hopefully he would look a little bit more shiny. This is the closest thing I could find that would suit all my needs. He didn't turn out as glossy as I wanted him to, but he did soak up most of the finish, and I put like 3 or 4 coats on him, but he just kept soaking it all up. Mostly, I think, because he is a piece of driftwood, and he just kept soaking it all up. So maybe if I had sanded him and finished him, but that's not what I wanted to do with him. So I got what I got, and I just painted it on. I did more coats outdoors, and I did do this ventilated. I did forget to put my mask on when I was doing this. It would have been a really good idea, but was dumb. It is pretty stinky, so should wear a mask, especially indoors. I did only do 1 coat like this though, and then I did the rest outside, so it was pretty nice when I was doing it. It does need to dry in pretty warm temperatures though, so be warned. But you can see before I put the gloss on, the colors are pretty light. You can see I did the face in yellow as well. You can see a lot of the yellow, it's very visible, but as soon as I put the finish on, ooh boy, does he darken up, and you can't really see the colors much anymore. All you see is just dark, dark, dark. Which is really unfortunate, because, you know, it says clear and all that, but then he just looks dark. Unfortunately dark. And I really would have liked to have seen him in like the full brilliant color that he was before I put that finish on. I mean, he does look dark and mysterious once it gets on, which is all good, but like, I do miss the pop of color that he was when he was unfinished, so it's a little unfortunate. Okay, now on to making the shell. I used this air dry clay. I think I used the last of this grabby clay I bought on sale. You could tell it was old because it was all goopy inside. Hopefully this is the last of it. I don't think I'll buy any more of this because it actually kind of sucked. I also used a planter pot for the base of the shell, and I just kind of covered it with this air dry clay. So to kind of use the pot to make it the base shape, I used a hacksaw and I kind of cut it into the shape that I wanted it. I cut the bottom lip part out, so it didn't really come out. And then I took the part that I cut off, and I made kind of a lip at the front part. And I used duct tape, and I taped it all up so the lip part would stay on and kind of stick out. And I made that for like the front teeth part kind of coming out of the skull. And it actually worked pretty good. And then I just used the foam to really shape it more and make it look like a skull. It looks like a weird, crappy helmet starting out here, but it took form. I'm sorry I didn't film the part where I cut up the pot, but I didn't know what I was doing. It was just experimentation, and I spent literal hours hacking up this pot, so I didn't have enough film and battery life to be doing that, and you didn't want to see it, so it's just duct tape on a pot, and you just make a pot shape, and you make a little lip on the front with whatever material you got, and you just have it stick out. You figure it out. And then after I covered it with clay, I carved out the eye holes and the nose hole to make the skull. And then I just started filling out the brow bone structure, the jawbone structure, just all the structure of the skull. And then the swirl of the snail, the little snail shell on the side, made him. And I wasn't on my best this day whenever I did this, because I was actually not sculpting very well. I had to redo some stuff later, but after I did all that, I made the teeth last. And I made some crevices for the teeth, carved those out, and then I sculpted the teeth, and I put in some very, very large chompers, and finally got to be done, and let it dry for several days, and had to come back and reshape it, because it started sagging as it was drying. Like I said, this clay freaking sucks. It's the cheap clay from Michael's that like sell themselves. I think it's their name brand, and they will put some of it on sale sometimes for like $1 when it's going bad, and don't buy it. I think there's better clays out here, because this one takes forever to dry, and it sags while it's drying, so it kind of ruins whatever you shape. So, it's bad. It's real bad. So now that it's finally dry, I'm going to start by giving it just a base coat of white, and then I'm going to give it, like, a skull shade, which is basically white mixed with like a light kind of brown. And after I give it that skull shade, then I started to try to do detail work. But when I got into the detail work, giving it some browns and basically dirtying it up, I noticed that I hadn't given him a nose bone, like at all. You remember when I said I wasn't good at sculpting that day? Yeah. Well, I didn't even give him a nose bone at all, and I noticed that while I was painting. Yeah. Luckily, I did have some of that crappy clay left, so I let the paint that I did have on there dry, and I immediately started crafting a nose bone, and I was feeling a little bit more sculptorish this day, and I was working a little bit better. So it went a little bit faster. And I used what clay I did have left to give him a proper nose bone so he looked a little less ghoulish. And, a little bit more proper. And I did give him a little bit more of a brow bone too. And while I was noticing that, I kind of noticed his shell looked a little off too, so I redid his shell a little bit while I was at it. Now, after a couple more days of drying and re-coordinating the horrible clay, and repainting over it again, he's ready for more detail painting, and basically I'm getting in the cracks with this kind of dark umber. I've lightened up a bit with some more light brown, and I'm getting in all the cracks of the teeth. I'm getting in all the deep crevices of the nose hole and the eyeballs. Basically all the places like that. I'm putting in some dirt spots around. I'm deepening under the jawbones, so I'm creating some kind of fake depth around there where I couldn't really cut out from the pot. Anywhere there I'm painting darker. I am painting in black into the eye holes and the nose hole after I'm doing it in dark brown there. I'm painting in the deepest spots black. Just painting in all those, and then I'm going to start in on the stripes on the side of the shell, and then going in over the top and around to the other side of the shell. I'm starting with this kind of warm brown color, which is my lightest shade of brown. It's more of kind of a tan, and I'm just putting in stripes with actually a very strawy type of brush that I found in my brushes, because I just want very kind of brushy textured type stripes, and I don't want to do them all individually like by hand, because that would take so very long. So I found that doing them with this and like a fan brush worked the best and the fastest, so I started with that, and then I mixed in a medium type brown and I put in some stripes with that, and then I moved to kind of my burnt umber color that I lightened up a little bit and did some with that until like doing the very darkest burnt umber and the very middle swirl of the shell, and colored in there with that, and just kind of finished up there and just made kind of a nice pattern I was happy with until I was all done coloring him all across the shell, and I thought, you know, he looked pretty spiffy. Yep, it's time for more of this stuff, and this time I'm gonna coat the shell in it a bunch of times. Now everything's finally done, so I'm just gonna take my E6000 once again, and I'm gonna glue everything on. And I had to glue the shell on, I don't know, 10 times maybe before its teeny points of contact finally stuck.
Oh my gosh.
You like him?
It's fucking cool, Jay.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's all waterproof, right?
You should be.
Wow.
is done. Is finished. Is over with. And I gave him to my mom because I can't keep a giant snail in my apartment. So yeah, she gets him, and I told her maybe we should name him, and she was like, I don't know. I was like, okay, Gregory, and she was like, Henry, I guess, and I was like, okay, Henry. So if you ever better snail name, let me know. Honestly, wasn't all that hard to make him, surprisingly. Hardest part was maybe trying to make the shape of the shell, but then just like gluing the actual shell on, because it was like, big of a point of contact on for gluing, so maybe getting like a piece of wood with a fatter base so it could actually like sit more on there would have been better. Or like just making something that would have stuck on to have just a bigger point of contact for gluing would have been a better thing to do, but I was like, I'm not even care anymore. I can't be bothered. It's... I didn't want to waste any more of my brain cells. So I just wanted to be done with it, and it looks cool, and so we'll see if he holds up to the rain like he should with the disgusting grody finish that I paid so much for. So if he does somehow get wrecked by the rain, I'll let you know in the comments, and maybe on my Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's in the description on my channel homepage. So I'll let you know when I'm gonna put out videos and stuff and do all that, and just be weird and wacky on there. So you'll know if you use Twitter. I only use it for this, so it's the only reason I'm on there, but I never know. And you guys remember to leave me a little like and subscribe, yeah, because keeps me going, keeps me making these weird little things, you know, you want to check out. So give me the little likes and subscribes, okay? And I'll see you next time when I make my next weird little thing. Okay? Bye!